From Clockworks.com, this is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 220. I'm Chris.
I'm Steve.
I'm neither of those.
Yes, it's good to be neither of those. Hello, neither of those.
I'm Leo.
Yes,
Leo.
you are you're gonna have to tag the episode that Leo was on way back.
Yes, was it actually the one called Leo One Half, or was we? Just,
No, that was when we talked about him.
We talked about Leo.
So yeah, you're gonna have to.
I'll find
really
the Leo episode.
Dig,
Yeah.
because I think it was when we recorded at your place in
Yes.
New Hampshire.
It was definitely
It was
there, yeah.
like year one. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So
Or it could have been. So we started. We're coming up on 5 years this year.
Holy shit.
And so it could have been early 2015.
When do you guys think you jumped the shark?
Well, oh, jeez.
Episode I think 52 is when I think Dan was like, "I'm sick of this shit."
Well, 50 wasn't 52 the first of the
Anniversary
show
where we did fake things that didn't actually happen. Oops.
No, we didn't. We collected the best of the show. Don't break the conceit.
Although this past year we actually did. Oh wait, no. Did we do an actual flashback? No, I know
No, we didn't.
We did it. We did a flashback from when I had my teeth out because I didn't want to record a show. But then we ended up recording a whole bunch where I was like,
Yeah. So I mean, we know how to party. That's
boy, wait, having my wisdom teeth out.
That is, well, you get nitrous, right? Do you get nitrous? What did you get when your wisdom teeth?
I got knocked out.
I
got knocked the fuck out.
You got
Like whole way? Like
it was Friday.
lost the time and everything?
like Mama said, knock you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did LL Cool J come right up to you with a fist and he just like popped you one in the jaw? And
No,
you
we were
out?
listening to Ween at the time, and I think we
Okay.
covered this.
We did cover this. I think you should have been listening to LL Cool J. I'm just saying that it probably would have been more effective anesthesia.
I didn't have a problem with the anesthesia.
Well, yes, and.
So welcome, Leo, to your second appearance, and hopefully in another 2 years you can have another one.
yeah.
2 years. 2 years. Yeah, that seems like a long time.
Yes.
Well, it's been 3 since the last one.
Yeah,
so I'm
Jesus
actually-
Christ.
Yeah.
It's not like it's unreasonable.
Yeah,
It's actually less time.
Right. Well, yeah, absolutely. I can't speak the English tonight. I don't know what's happening.
Well, it's
We
good
could-
that there's
we-
two of us here.
I know. I could just.
We could
I
go bilingual if you would like.
Oh,
Yeah, do some Portuguese.
Eu posso falar português, tu queres?
Dude, he just said your pants are filled with cheese. That's my rough translation.
Really early on into dating my girlfriend Adrian, actually, I think it was the night that we all met, and they were hammered drunk.
Well, Becky and Adrian.
Yeah,
We're hammered drunk.
Yeah.
And you were the designated.
we were the designated less drunk people.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
But I remember this was fairly
DLPs.
Yes, of course.
No,
This was-
DLDPs. Yeah.
DLDP.
Designated less drunk people. Unless we're making less drunk a hyphenate in which it would just be the DLPs.
Sure.
Yes.
And
Okay, so
when you guys all first met.
oh yeah.
I mean, I met I met his girlfriend the day he met her.
This is true.
But Becky had
Virtually simultaneously, because
Yeah.
she was giving us chicken wings.
Yes.
Well, that is a good way to meet somebody.
She indirectly, I don't know about you, but gave me diarrhea.
The start of any good relationship starts with a gastrointestinal issue.
I mean, it's not her fault. It's just B-dubs.
Okay. Yeah. Enough said. Yeah. No. So when you
Which is what Mitch from Pinball fame has been calling Becky now.
Oh, B-dubs.
Because now those
B-dubs or GI issue?
No. Yes, and. No, B-dubs, because those are her initials now.
Ah.
Right. When I came and visited the pinball whenever that was, and I think I don't know if he was the one that said it, but somebody initially misidentified her as using her her maiden name.
Well, that's how she's in the IFPA website.
Got it. Swiftly corrected, as I recall. It became Woodbury or B-dubs. I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
I was drinking so much I can't. I just.
You mean the one drink you had?
It's all a blur.
Did we talk about that? Did we do that before or after the show? The last show that we did.
After.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can get to that, but what I was trying to get back to, like, Leo was starting a story.
Oh yeah.
That we got horribly off topic.
I'm glad you didn't do that weird gagging thing that you used to do.
I personally am a little disappointed that I didn't get it. Like, I kind of
All right, you want to do it for
I wanted to get
you know what? It doesn't have quite the same effect if you're expecting it. So
all right,
somewhere
maybe later
in the show, possibly there will be.
We'll have to actually get horribly off topic.
The return of the gag.
I just feel like I'm close enough here that this is like the first couple of rows in SeaWorld. Like,
so you want to get wet with this
yeah,
gag?
I'm coming into this with like a poncho on. I'm like, I can't wait to get Chris Flynn.
That's what she said. Somewhere in there was an opportune moment for the "that's what she said," but I didn't want to interrupt you. That's what she said. No. So you were telling us a story.
Oh, dumb story.
And maybe you'll actually get to tell it.
So we had just started dating, and I figured I was going to play up immigrant stereotypes and try to do the sensual Latin lover and whisper sweet nothings into her ear in a different language. And I got through just like a bunch of rambling gibberish that I was whispering to her. And she's like, "Wow, what'd you just say?" And I was like, "That's a recipe for codfish."
I took Spanish in high school. Even like the last year of middle school, I think I took part of a semester of Spanish, and none of it stuck with me. And years later, a friend of mine, one of my friends named John, I have many, told me a Spanish phrase, which I've since had corrected for me, and I was like, "You're taking all of the fun out of this," but and it's the only Spanish phrase that I remember anymore, and it is "Tengo una fiesta en mis pantalones."
What does that mean, Chris?
It means there's a party in my pants. That's what it. But
and everyone's coming.
But somebody later corrected me, saying, "Well, you really wouldn't say." It was like one of those guys on the internet who feels the need to correct everything. And I was like, "Well, you wouldn't really say fiesta in that scenario. You would," and I don't remember what word you would say.
Is he the same guy who would get really upset about you telling him how to train dogs?
I didn't do it. I didn't bring it up.
Maybe. See, I don't know that guy personally, and he was a guest on. I'm down to 2 podcasts.
Down to clown.
I'm down to clown.
Are you the Juggalo podcast?
Bringing it back to before the show.
Yes.
No. I'm down to 2 or 3 podcasts in my feed, and one of them featured a guest appearance by the dog guy
and Beyonce.
Yes. And no Beyonce. No Beyonce to be found. But the dog guy was on there and being very dog guy. But he was not the one. He's of Italian descent.
Oh.
Yeah. So
the one who
why does that matter, Chris?
Oh my goodness, what happened to that? Why did I see? Okay, right there. I'm just gonna apologize for the listener. It just got really loud for a second, and I still have yet to figure out why sometimes that happens.
Okay, but it's all right now.
It's fine. Yeah, no, it was
when I said Chris.
Maybe it's just that the computer is conspiring with you to admonish me.
Cool.
And yeah.
I mean, at least I'm giving daps.
You're giving daps.
Daps to the
daps to the Mac. So
daps to the max.
Daps to the max. So Adrian. You said Adrian's name, right? So I'm
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
We're beyond that.
It's not like you're saying her last name.
Yeah. So did she ever fall for the Sweet Nothings again?
No.
Okay.
To this day,
you can say anything you want.
to this day, she'll still be like whisper cod recipes to me. It's
So it's like, in Addams Family, the film, when they're just speaking in different languages to each other to turn each other on.
Who were they? That's Raul, Julia, and
Angelica
Houston.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've always thought of myself as a Raul Julia type person.
You are kind of.
Yeah,
I don't know too many roles where he had full facial hair, but if you had just a mustache, you could pretty much be Gomez Addams.
I have solo mustache twice in my life for spans of no longer than 24 hours or whatever. There is one photograph of me with a pretty righteous looking handlebar.
Oh, see, I did that earlier this year. It was in the springtime. I was shaving it. I was going to shave a full beard off, and so I said, well, I just want to see how ridiculous various mustaches look on me, and so at each stage of the shaving process, I would wipe the shaving cream off, dry my face a little bit.
Did you take a picture? At least
did.
Selfies?
I did. I don't know if I ended up with the full-on handlebar or not, but it was not anywhere near. Righteous was the adjective used.
Oh yeah, righteous.
I was not anywhere near righteous.
I think you should do mutton chops. I think when you come back, you should have mutton chops.
Joked about me doing the Wolverine.
Yeah,
let's go, Bub. I mean, he was short.
Okay, so this personal complaint of mine. This is going on to X-Men movies.
Okay.
Just as a disclaimer, I think Hugh Jackman does a fantastic job as a
Yes.
Wolverine, but as a short, swarthy, hairy person, I really lament the fact that they couldn't find anyone who wasn't like goddamn 6'3" or whatever the hell he is. Like,
well, they have an opportunity. He has said that he's done with the role.
yeah, he finished after Logan, right?
Yeah, and so now, sometime this month or next month, Marvel's Disney's buyout of Fox will go through, and they'll have an opportunity to start thinking about who might be their next Wolverine. So, can you think of any actors come to mind, or are you going to put yourself out there?
I mean, he's gonna be gone. So
Yeah, it's gonna be hard scheduling unless they wanted to do some kind of like Wakanda thing or whatever.
Yeah, cool.
Which, by the way, I've totally missed an opportunity of telling people that that's where I'm going and seeing if they catch on whatsoever. The general American perception of that continent and like geography within it's really limited. So I'm pretty sure I could pull the wool over.
I think you could.
So do you like we've alluded to it, but we haven't actually said it. Do you want to say where you're going?
No, I like this just confusing people. Some people are going to think I'm going to Wakanda. Other people are just going to be like, Africa, that's a country, right?
Yeah. Are you gonna? I mean, are you going to meet Okoye? I mean, of all the people I'd like to meet, it'd be Okoye, the bald lady with the spear.
Yeah. The one who makes me whimper a little every time that she's on the screen. I'm like, oh man, you're scary.
Yeah. I mean, she was hoping for a Starbucks or the Olympics when they opened Wakanda up to the world, but instead she's getting Leo. I mean,
my bad.
No, she'll be happy about that, I think, finally, because first they had, a bunch of space invaders come in.
Yeah, I was going to say, the last time they opened that thing up, it didn't work out.
Yeah, but I'm going to imagine they'll have sorted things out by the time you get there, and they'll just be happy to I
mean, and like with this whole Fox thing going on, Thanos could snap his fingers again, and then X-Men could just exist.
Exactly. And one of them pops up in Wakanda, and he happens to have claws.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how he got there.
How did I get here? I'm really gruff.
Yeah. I would love to see them do. That's one of my favorite storylines in the X-Men comics is the Siege Perilous, from when they all go through that, and Wolverine gets crucified on an X, and then they all half of them go through this damn thing, and they all end up in different parts of the world. They can't remember who they are, and then they gradually reform in like groups of 2 and 3 until they have to, like a year or two later, get all back together. And it's
and it was just a big orgy.
It was a big orgy by the pool. They were playing baseball.
That's how I like all of my story arcs to end, by the way.
Well,
orgies in baseball.
yeah. Actually,
Two of America's favorite pastimes.
I mean, you would be surprised. I don't know if it's just one. Maybe it's just one, but I feel like multiple X-Men story arcs in the 90s began with the X-Men, all the dudes shirtless playing baseball, and all of the ladies in bikinis by the pool, right? And it was an excuse for the comic book artists to draw hot half-naked women before they had to start drawing robots beating everybody up. But for a few pages, it would just be, orgies by the pool and baseball.
Yeah, I was going to say impromptu skins versus shirts baseball games.
Yeah, it was but if you're not going to be the next Wolverine, Leo, how tall is he supposed to be? Is he supposed to be like?
I think he's shorter than me. I think he's like.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be like 5'6".
5'6". Okay, so
no, I'm not.
You're closer than Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
I wonder. All right, you guys talk about something. I'm gonna look at the IMDb.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey.
What age range you figure Wolverine should look like? That's a good question.
I think he's perpetually like, I don't know, 40?
Yeah,
maybe?
about 40.
Something like that.
All right, 40. Where is that?
Are you searching for 40-year-old 5'6"?
Well, on IMDb, you can do that.
Off the top of my head, like the shortest, like well-known actor that I can think of is Tom Cruise, and he would just be a terrible Wolverine.
Yeah,
He's the only one that like is notable in my head that like they would have to put soapboxes underneath him so that.
And like, there's other like actors like Al Pacino, but he's old, so
yeah.
She had a great ass.
So wait, is that legit? Pacino's really short?
Yeah,
did not know that.
All right.
I feel like my life is a lie.
Why you thought he was?
I thought all of these people were like that's the stereotype, right? Hollywood people tend to be short people. Because
I mean, they got no reason to live.
I'm gonna go with anywhere from 40 to 35 to 40. That's what I'm gonna do.
You know who's short?
No.
Dude. Bane. Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Is a good. I could get behind that.
I feel like that one could work.
Not behind Tom Hardy. I'm not.
Because I'm pretty sure in his Bane costume, I think they gave him like platform shoes to be able to stand up to Christian Bale. Yeah. Like as big and imposing as he seemed, he was little tiny baby Bane.
Jason Momoa is in that range, but I think he's a pretty tall dude. Macaulay Culkin in that range.
There we go. He's a year to the day younger than me.
Okay. Lin-Manuel Miranda, I think, I don't know that he's particularly hairy, but...
I mean, he definitely has ethnicity.
Let's see. Rami Malek.
Ethnic.
You are remarkably ethnic.
From Mr. Robot, and he played Freddie Mercury.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know about, like he doesn't have, like, the muscles, I don't think, for a Wolverine.
Yeah. Kieran Culkin. He could bulk up.
Another Culkin?
In the range. He was born in 82.
There's, like, been a media blast of Macaulay Culkin lately. Like,
why would that be?
He was on the Angry Video Game Nerd. He was on like a bunch of stuff with Red Letter Media. Mm-hmm. They just had a Google like home ad with him replaying Kevin McAllister in the Home Alone house, where he was just doing all the things that he did in Home Alone with the Google device. So
I did see that, yes.
And he's been on all the talk shows again, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, it's the return of the Mac.
Elijah fucking Wood.
What?
Elijah Wood. He's short, right?
Right, but he's not jacked.
He could get jacked.
All right.
Couldn't he get jacked? Imagine Elijah Wood with mutton chops. Just want you to do it. Elijah Wood with mutton chops and jacked up.
I don't think that it would go with his aesthetic.
I feel like Elijah Wood's adorable.
Yeah.
He's just... I think he would just look like a kid in his Wolverine Halloween costume. Like when you see like the little kid with the yellow and blue coming up to go get
Mr. Frodo ain't going anywhere without me.
That's wrong one.
Yeah, I know, but he's also short and the same
He
age.
is also no, he's older.
Oh, yeah.
He's like much older. He's older than me.
Wow.
Pretty sure.
Jesus, he must be old.
Mr. Aston, I believe.
I didn't think he was that old. I mean, like, that was like the Goonies crew, so like he was like maybe 9 or 10 in the mid 80s.
Let's see. Sean Astin is he's born in 1971.
Oh, okay. Wow, he is older than
yes,
than
he
I
is
thought.
6 years older than me.
It's our time down here,
Yes, it is. It is our time down here.
or in here.
Rest in peace. What was his name on? Oh, spoilers. Stranger Things.
Oh, well, I don't know.
What?
Radio
What?
shit.
This would be the part in the show where I would fast forward so I don't get spoiled, and I don't have that luxury now.
He didn't die. I'm just kidding. No.
It was some other
I
kids.
gotta not gesture with my arms because I am like 2 seconds from knocking the plug out of the thingamajig.
You motherfucker.
You can't be a senator if you say that. No, it can't be a
Let's
congressman.
no. let's not go there. I would like to keep it fun.
All right. So.
But just so everybody knows out there, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I totally support like a congressperson calling that person a motherfucker.
I totally support a congressperson calling anybody who's a motherfucker. There's nothing wrong with the motherfucking word motherfucker.
Right.
Motherfucker.
Let's move on.
Y'all go with it.
Okay.
So we didn't write a list, right? And I'm feeling like it's, again, I can't speak. So you guys just keep talking, and I'm a back because I feel very scatterbrained.
Well, okay, so we mentioned it before. I was playing my Sega Genesis collection on my Switch before you guys arrived, and I was playing Golden Axe. And I was trying to explain it like the characters to you.
Okay.
and when I did that, I said there's a dwarf character who has a higher attack power, but he has like the least amount of magical ability. But then I made
Is that inherently a dwarf quality? I'm sorry. I dork out pretty hard on stuff, but the medieval fantasy like Lord of the Rings and stuff, like I've seen the movies. They're good movies. I appreciate it. You know, I like me some hobbits every once in a while, but like there are people who just they know all of the abilities and this is what dwarves are like and this is what elves are like and these are more magical. Like I don't know these things.
Different character class. Like elves tend to be more magically inclined, and then humans are just sort of like middle of the road as far as like abilities wise. But dwarves I think tend to be better as like fighters. Or somebody, that would require more constitution. I think they have higher constitution. Halflings tend to be more nimble, and so therefore would make a better rogue, whatever. And so, as far as the D&D universe,
now there was, although I think it might actually have the word explained in it, which is now cause for me not to watch a YouTube video if it has the word explained in it. No, but CGP Grey is a guy, great guy. I don't know if he's a great guy.
Do you remember the great guy?
CGP Grey makes great videos, and he has 2 of them, I think, explaining Lord of the Rings. 5 to 10 minute videos for you and me, for people like me and Leo, who are like, I saw the movies. Maybe I'm kind of vaguely interested in understanding a little bit more, but I am not going to read the Silmarillion, okay? Like, it's not happening. Please give me 5 to 10 minutes explaining, what the hell the difference between an elf and a dwarf is. And somewhere in there they explain it. And yes, I think I think the non-magicness of dwarfs starts in Tolkien before it spreads out into the D&D and other derivatives.
Well, I mean, like, I think that's where D&D started, or Gary Gygax, the guy that created Dungeons and Dragons, I think that's where he got his muse was from Lord of the Rings.
And then the orc or the goblin is usually a corrupted elf. Somewhere way back, it's usually that they messed with magic too much, or they went to the dark side. So that race of people became evil.
So hold on.
Okay.
Even Terry Brooks does that in sort of spoilers.
Really?
I'm just gonna fast forward through this.
The Shannara stuff.
You're fast forwarding yourself. Whoa! It's going so fast.
So hold on. orcs are corrupted. You said elves?
I think so.
We don't have to look it up.
You know what? You guys are.
I mean, I guess what I was getting at was, is that the case with all? Like, if it's a race of these things, can they reproduce and make more orcs, or do they just make elves and jump?
Yeah, they're like.
By the way, none of us are getting laid after this.
I think. Well. There's those special orcs, the orcs, right? Which they have to put like something. That part of the movie always I'm like unclear on what's happening, but they put something in the ground. I don't know if they put like a flower pot in the ground and they dump.
They plant them.
They dump orc shit. But yeah, like you see, they come out of the ground. Like they're coming out of the ground and then they reach up to whoever was trying to get them out of the ground and they strangle them. And I'm like, where did they come from? They just have always been in the ground.
I don't know.
I don't know either. That's why I'm gonna.
They're like donkeys, or not like a donkey or a mule. Like
mule.
Which one's the one?
That's what you're going.
Like yeah, they're like if a donkey and a horse got together,
they produce orcs.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Donkey and a horse. I mean, that's.
So yeah, like but then I assumed that the dwarf was a man, but dwarf women also have beards. So
dwarf women and the women in my family are similar.
Is that a problem that is sort of throughout the Mediterranean in terms of the ladies dealing with facial?
We are a swarthy lot.
Yeah. That ends up being a plot element in the novel Middlesex, which is about a intersexed individual who's born and identified as a girl growing up.
Oh, I get it, Middlesex.
Yes.
I thought it took place in Middlesex County.
Well, I think it does take place in also in a Middlesex area of Grosse Pointe, or it takes place on Middlesex
Jersey,
Grosse Pointe, Michigan.
Oh,
yeah.
What? Fuck.
Anyway, so
other parts of the country can go suck it.
The main character.
What's up with that state?
Yeah.
The main character is of Greek descent, and as they start to grow towards puberty, they start to get the facial hair, which is explained away by the fact that they're Greek, when in actuality they are intersexed and have a lot of male hormones going on. But I feel for the ladies with the mustaches who don't want them.
I feel for you.
I still have to look up some stuff on orcs. So you guys.
Oh yeah, so it could be. I don't know what the gender of this particular dwarf is, but that's the character that I was using. And then there's the male human hero, which is like middle of the road for magic, middle of the road for attack. But then like the female hero is the weakest as far as attack goes, but she's the strongest as magic goes.
Okay, so women being inherently more magical than men.
I mean,
within the confines of Lord of the Ringsy stuff.
Being in a room,
this is Golden Axe, right?
Yes, being in a room of predominantly straight males.
Like this room right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I mean, but I think we can agree that we find women magical.
Oh yeah.
Or not necessarily women in general, but the women we have decided to.
I would concur. Yes.
Spend an inordinate amount of time.
I can't find any evidence. The origin of orcs. The origin of orcs.
All right, read the origin of orcs.
The origin of orcs is an open question. Tolkien developed various.
What? I'm not.
Tolkien developed various origins for his orcs throughout his life, but died before he could fully revise.
This guy wrote like 7 billion pages of Lord of the Rings related stuff. How did he never get around to explaining this? Like, I feel like every side character in those movies has an entire backstory. Why do we not know where the fucking orcs come from?
See, I like Leo being here because it doesn't have to be just me ranting about something that doesn't matter.
died before he could fully realize the Silmarillion, with his final view on their origins and nature. Tolkien's orc origin ideas were published posthumously in the Silmarillion, with the other versions of events appearing later in the history of Middle-earth. In Tolkien's writings, evil is not capable of independent creation, making it unlikely that the Vala Morgoth, who was the first to produce them, could create them from nothing. No female orcs are ever mentioned by Tolkien in any publication. However, in the published Silmarillion, to be distinguished from the unpublished, it is stated that orcs, quote, had life and multiplied after the manner of the children of Ilúvatar, implying that they exist. In The Hobbit, the orc Balg is the son of one Azog, while Gollum is described as having eaten a young goblin imp shortly before he first met Bilbo.
So probably they make babies. No evidence of females.
They're probably just hiding.
Well, in an unpublished letter written in 1963 to a Mrs. Munsby and auctioned in 2002 at Sotheby's.
Can we get her on the line, by the way? I want an expert opinion about this. Mrs. Munsby, can you please explain orcs to me?
Hold on.
This is very important right now.
Hold on, or I'll get her on the horn.
All right. While Steve works on getting Mrs. Munsby on the horn, I will read the rest of this sentence. Tolkien confirmed that female orcs did exist. He wrote, quote, "There must have been orc women, but in stories that seldom, if ever, see the orcs except as soldiers of armies in the service of the evil lords, we naturally would not learn much about their lives. Not much was known."
All right, well, went right to voicemail.
Compare this with Tolkien's.
So I guess we'll never know. Just like we'll never. What?
Wait, okay. Somewhere in this text refers to the Quendi who ran and hid at the site of Orome when he first came to lead them from Colvania westward. These, quote, corrupted elves, unquote, were the first orcs. There were various races of orcs, all identical in their hate for everything that Ilúvatar and the Valar had constructed to resemble the hate that lay within. Now, there's a bunch of parentheticals that I skipped over there. I don't think if you took the parentheticals out, it's actually a sentence. Whoever wrote this, like I'm just trying to read it. And like there are various races of orcs, all identical in their hate for everything that Ilúvatar and the Valar had constructed to resemble the hate that lay with it.
So I think what you're trying to say is orcs are modern day Proud Boys.
Yeah, that's an association you could probably make.
Or what are the guys that don't jerk off or do anything like that or have sex? Incels.
I thought that was Proud Boys. I thought Proud Boys had like a hardo.
They do have a hardo.
Yeah,
they can't do anything with it.
Probably. Oh man, that's just the worst.
Incels is what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. All right. Incels is what I was thinking of. All right, that could be the title of the show.
No. There's so much variety when it comes to neo-fascist groups nowadays. It's hard to keep track of them.
Right.
I mean, alleged neo-fascist groups.
Yeah, you don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
What are you typing? You writing a book again? You already wrote for 6 hours this morning and 6 hours yesterday.
I did. I can't stop. I can't stop, won't stop.
All right. So is this the next novel?
Yes.
You're gonna have to ship it off to Africa.
Yes, that will be pretty cool. I'll be able to say I have a book in Africa. Where did you leave?
Thailand.
Thailand. So I made it to Thailand.
So like Sagat is there reading it right now.
Wait, but
Street Fighter 2.
Okay.
So I will tell you that when we were in Thailand, we were in Bangkok, where the giant reclining golden Buddha is,
right.
And I could not get that image, that level out of my head.
I haven't thought about that music in
dozens of
an
minutes.
orc's age?
Yeah.
In an orc's age.
Since the last time you jerked off. No.
Oh. Speaking of which.
Oh.
I get a very sad story for you.
Oh no.
I don't like when jerk-off stories go sad.
Well, it's not that sad. It's just
I mean, I think we could safely say that all the stories we tell are jerk-off stories.
in that they're stories told by jerk-offs.
Yeah, you didn't have to spell it out, Chris, but yeah.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did because I'm a jerk-off.
Oh.
Okay, so Stephanie and I, we were in the car with the kids driving.
God, this keeps on getting worse.
We were driving.
I am really like I'm just kind of watching you like dig a hole over here and be like, I wonder how he's gonna get out of this one now.
No, I'm gonna dig a hole and I'm gonna fuck it. It's gonna be my new.
At least you weren't driving with the kids anymore.
Yeah, no. Okay, so we were having a conversation about finances on New Year's Day. And not that we're in any
That
trouble.
usually precedes masturbation for me too.
Yeah. On New Year's Day.
Yes, I always jerk off to you too.
Me too?
No, to you too.
Oh.
I just made a gesture to Steve and Leo.
Well, that's nice. At least you get to see him one more time.
I was. I'm trying to unpack like.
No. I like it. We left you at the bottom of that hole, and you're
yes,
just
I'm
like,
at the
I don't even have the shovel anymore.
I'm at the bottom of the hole.
You're
I'm
just
about
like,
to be
wait,
buried
maybe if
and
I take
become-
this hose and spray water all around, that'll
Well,
help me.
and then you bury me, I'll become an urukai, and I'll reach through the ground and strangle.
No,
you.
Oh man, this orc conversation.
We
had
talked to
legs
Mrs.
for
Mrs. Bum Lady or whatever. And
Did
she
you get
said,
around the line?
yeah, she said there was lady orcs and they didn't get bred in the ground.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I forgot to tell you, I talked to her.
Thank you, Lady Butterfield,
Thank you-
or whatever the hell your name
thank you,
was.
Lady Butterworth.
The syrup lady?
So we were looking at ways to decrease our expenses so that we can not only pay down the little bit of debt that we've got built up over the last few months, but also start to build a not a nest egg, but just build our savings.
Some sort of equity.
Yes. And so I was looking. I did not discuss this particular budget cut because this is a thing I did on my own. But we've talked about it here on the show. Last March I paid for a year-long subscription to a
We know, Clark.
yes to an adult.
No. Tell me more.
To an adult video site.
Are you ever going to share what that site was?
No.
Oh, I love that because just every like bizarre niche just entered my head right there.
No, because you're gonna find some way to make fun of me for it, and you already are making fun of me for.
Chris, I'm hardly making fun of you.
All right,
I could have ripped into you hardcore, and I haven't.
That's actually the site. Is
It's just,
I could have ripped into you hardcore.
.com.
but didn't. It's just like a bunch of people not having sex.
They're just staring at each other angrily while naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could have done this.
No, they're not even naked. It's just they're staring at each other angrily. There's no clothes.
And you paid for this.
This is just a lot of potential but unrecognized intercourse going on right now.
Okay. So we decided to cancel HBO for now because nobody else in the house watches it, and the only time I watch it is when Game of Thrones.
Do you want to come over and watch Game of Thrones?
I'll resubscribe when Game of Thrones comes on.
Okay, so like in 2 months.
Yeah, or when Westworld is on. So pretty much any other time I don't watch it. We've had Hulu, but we don't watch a ton of Hulu. So we're like, okay, we can get rid of Hulu. We'll just keep Netflix. And we'll go on from there. And then so I was looking at other things I could cut, and I said to myself, is $99 for a year, right? So it's a pretty good deal.
Seriously? There's so much free pornography on the internet.
But we know, Steve, we know Woodbury, that I don't like stealing things.
It's not stealing.
Free pornography is stealing. No, but the people who fucked on film, on those films that you're stroking it to for free, do not get paid by your jizz. Your jizz is not, you can't.
I will tell you that this may be my own naivety, but I don't understand how money gets made in that industry now, with the exception of
an occasional Clark.
Yeah, the occasional. I mean, unless you're propping up the entire industry, right?
I might be, and now that I canceled my subscription.
Oh, that's it. The whole thing.
You know what you could do is you could go old school and just get a magazine and then do it that way.
Or I could look up
which would be significantly less expensive, but you're also promoting the industry.
Right. So, yeah. So now I'm faced with do I never jerk off to pornography again? Or do I find places where I can buy like a scene?
Or you could do something like you could draw naked pictures and then jerk off to your own art.
I could.
I am a fan of that. You should go with it.
The website Collider.com has a monthly feature called the sexiest films on Netflix, and some of them are downright sexy. So there's that, because Nymphomaniac is on there. There's a film about a sexual relationship between two women called Below Her Mouth, pretty explicit.
All right, so
there are options.
Okay, so I think I'm steering into a direction of what his site is.
But no, that's not. that's not what it is. But so I feel like, okay, if I'm gonna for the sake of money of my goals as a husband and family person, I can't subscribe to this anymore. But you know, people have needs. People like to watch the porn every once in a while, but now I can't because I'm not paying for it. So, you know, but to answer your question,
all kidding aside, you are a man of integrity.
You
are a blue-balled man of integrity.
Can that be the title?
Sure.
No. So, but to actually follow up on the question, so there's I think she started out as a model in New Hampshire. So there's a photographer. I think this is how I found this person. So there's a few photographers in New Hampshire who do a variety of some just sort of pinup art, boudoir, stuff like that. And then one of their former models was somebody who, you know, they posted a picture. It's like, oh, I'm on Instagram. I dig this thing, and so I followed her over there. And so she's recently started advertising her own personal site through her Instagram. And I was like, all right, for shits and giggles, let's see what she's charging. Because I was
wondering... What's the going rate?
I was wondering the exact same thing. And it's something along the lines of like... It's like I think it starts somewhere in the $25 to $50 range for not... What some people would say was not that much, ranging up to $100 to a couple $100 a month for
a month
for just her work on her website, to $700 for a lifetime subscription. Right.
So I mean that's a drop in the pan, Chris. $700.
But what I'm saying, like, I'm just bringing this all up in the interest of actually like addressing the question, which is
until like 2 months in, you get sick of looking at her.
What I'm trying to say is that I think you're absolutely the question of how is that industry surviving is a good one, because I don't think it is. I think and what was the film that it was a Netflix documentary, Hot Girls Wanted. We talked about it on the show.
Yeah, this was a long time ago.
Time ago.
And it was what's her butt from Parks and Rec.
From Parks and Rec. Her dad's
Rashida
Jones.
Yes, Rashida Jones produced it.
Yeah. And that documentary was sobering, right? Because it one of the ways that they're making it is that they keep bringing in new girls who come in, film a bunch of scenes over the course of just I don't know, it sounds like a couple weeks, a couple months or whatever. They're totally burnt out and they leave, and then they just find,
and they don't have any money. Like they didn't actually make right. They make like very little, and it's enough to cover their like housing and like it's just fucking bullshit.
Yeah. And
so maybe you don't give any money, unless it's directly to a person.
To the person.
Yeah.
Well, and that's all right.
I think that's a strip club.
What's that?
I think that's a strip
club.
Then
a situation like that, like there's a club owner that's taking a bunch of money, like right. that
there is the rub.
Yeah, so unless you're doing something like contributing to like somebody
like
who's
a
like
Patreon or something. There are some performers out there who have done things like that. If they don't want to run their own site, but I know that they are constantly under.
So if it was somebody for $5 a month, you could find somebody at that price, that would be half of what you paid this past year, and you've saved $50 over the course of the year.
Right, but I think that what I'm realizing, the economics of the thing, even if you do pay $100 a year, I still feel like, being the blue-balled man of integrity that I am, I'm realizing that I still wasn't paying fairly. Right, I was paying what they were asking, but if we really look at it, are the people who were performing for those films for that company being compensated fairly? I don't know if they are.
And then there's the other question. It's like, these people, like, some actually want to be doing this, and it's like, right. So it's something that they want to make money doing. Yeah. And if there isn't a market for it anymore, then they're not going to be able to do it. And yeah.
So. Well, and so one further wrinkle that I'll add into this: a few years ago, when I was running a pop culture website, Geek Force 5. And you can find all the archives on clarkwoods.com. I wrote a post about what was it called? Something like XXX people on Twitter, and the screen capture I did was of this.
Xander Cage?
No. It was of this performer.
Was that the guy from Triple X?
Yes, the movie.
Oh man, I feel so terrible that you made that reference and that I got it. I was like,
and now
I feel like garbage.
And now he is Groot.
Yeah,
you're right.
So anyway, so the screen capture that I put up there, and the person that I referenced was a performer named Nikki Benz, so that's her performing name, and she found out about it. This was Twitter at a much smaller scale, so she found out about it. She followed me back on Twitter, and she posted a link to my website from her personal site where you can view all of her work. Right, and so to this day, one of the biggest traffic drivers to my website is Nikki Benz, and you can see that she follows me and I follow her, and this was back in the day. This is back in the day when the Today Show followed me. There are those places that started following everyone back to about 1,000 people, and then they went, oh shit, we can't keep doing this. But I am in many cases one of those 1,000 people. So. Nikki Benz a couple of years ago reported on Twitter and elsewhere that she'd been sexually assaulted during a scene. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if the article that came out about this was in the Times, or it was in it probably wasn't the Times, but a fairly reputable publication talking about the fact that her coming out against her own industry has gotten her blacklisted. Mm-hmm. And so this is a person who now has to basically do the sort of pay me. It's not the same person. But she'd have to do the sort of $700 for an annual. I mean, like a lifetime subscription, or the $150 because she's just trying to keep her income at what it was. She does a ton of feature dancing, or she used to. I don't know. It's an interesting. It
wouldn't be a show if we didn't talk about strip clubs.
All I'm saying is that there's a conflict there for me, but also I'm proud to be a man of integrity.
So it strikes me, and this will be my parting thought on the topic. Yeah. It strikes me that the problem that we have here is not dissimilar to the problem that we have with healthcare, where not enough people are paying into it when they're not using it. Mm-hmm. So when you need it, it's really expensive. Right. So what we need is universal porn care, they have in Sweden, where everybody pays into it. And then when you're, blue-balled man of integrity or whatever, right. You can be you could feel this came out of my taxes. It's okay.
Yeah, you could feel like it's okay because you paid your tax, you paid, and so everything. Well, I agree.
I mean, so if we had honestly,
a porn tax,
if we had...
This is the future liberals want.
I feel like somewhere in Scandinavia already has this. Like, this is old hat. Norwegians are like, oh yeah, we do porn tax.
If we had a universal minimum income or something like that, then, you know, maybe we wouldn't have, you know.
I mean, eventually we're going, like I've said this before on the show, eventually we're going to get to a point where, like, jobs are going to be not plentiful, and there's going to be way too many people and not enough things to do. So you need something like that to exist, or else...
Yeah,
fuck all.
Speaking of a story that wasn't on, I don't know if it was on the Times or the Washington Post. It was a story about this, and I promise. Actually, I'm not promising anything because
promise nothing.
It was about I don't know if it was about college women or just young women in general or celebrities or what it was. It was about
such a big swath.
Some group of people.
It was about technology that right now is being used to take a face off of somebody who has never done pornography and put it onto, with very advanced AI and computer graphics, put it onto the face of somebody who is, and it's being used to make revenge porn.
Yeah, I mean,
but you could see a scenario where instead of using actual people, right, you could generate photorealistic pornography, and then that's a whole industry that goes away, right? Because you don't need the performers anymore,
right? I'm surprised no one's made any revenge porn of the three of us, like, spliced into the Lemon Party photo.
Wait, what?
You're gonna have to look it up.
The Lemon Party photo. Okay.
I was gonna say that is really presumptive of you.
Which one of us is the lucky devil?
Oh gosh. Well,
perform a cursory search here.
Well, I'm sorry that I got horribly off topic.
Oh, wow. So worth it.
You're welcome.
I hate it so much.
But we should talk about the
You're
Vermont
like an eagle feeding your chicks.
We should talk about the Vermont of Africa here. No, all right.
So circle back around on this one.
Circle back around. So before we even came into this room, before we ran the test, before we recorded the show,
before a couple
before time itself.
Yes. Right. It was already predestined.
You all were talking about an idea for a show title that you came up with last night. While you were, because it was just going away festivities for you, Leo, because you're heading off to Wakanda, and so you
the Vermont of Africa.
T'Challa reminds me very much of Bernie Sanders. That's
and I imagine they make really good ice cream.
And cheese.
Yeah.
No. So what was the title that you came up with that you now can't remember why it was going to be?
I think it was Ghana, the Vermont of Africa, and I don't for the life of me. We were several drinks in at this point. I don't for the life of me recall why we came to that conclusion. But the cat out of the bag, I guess. I'm gonna be leaving in
a week.
A week?
Yeah.
No, that's a week.
Wow.
That's why I'm like, let's get this guy on.
I knew it was soon, but I didn't know how soon.
Yeah. My girlfriend Adrian and I joined the Peace Corps, and we're gonna be serving in Ghana for the next 27 months.
Nice.
You're gonna be doing some agriculture.
Yeah.
Work is what you said yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot in the way of specifics, but I'm going to be working in the agriculture sector. Adrian, who's she's in the dental field, so she'll be doing healthcare related.
Oh, that's great. No, we joked earlier about Americans' understanding of that continent, but now I'm sitting here going, I can't remember where Ghana is.
There's a bulge in an armpit in the continent, wedged pretty good up in the armpit. Not quite Nigeria, a little bit to the east of there.
Okay, got it.
So it's coastal.
West Coast.
Yes, West Coast.
Yeah. Okay.
Best Coast is what I say.
Best coast to Africa. Yeah. That feels like it's wrong. on like probably many levels, but I don't.
Stop thinking that what you said is wrong.
I feel like
until we get the angry emails.
From the dog guy.
It's like, I've been to the west coast of Africa, and I think the east coast is much better.
No, it's more like this. It's like, I've been to the west coast of Africa.
Is that what he sounds like?
Yes.
Freaking weenie.
Yeah. So I'm sure he can write in and he can. Just,
it's okay. I will still.
Chastise.
I'll still not like you.
I'm trying to think of like what if Ben and Jerry's did have a Ghana branch.
Yeah,
but,
this is not going to be a good like joking
but
roundabout.
I mean, but
chocolate and cashew.
Chocolate and cashew.
Chocolate and cashew would go into a Ghanaian ice cream flavor, just because that's like two of their biggest exports. I want to say number 2 chocolate exporter in the world.
Wow,
and one of the biggest cashew exportors.
Yeah, so like they gotta, I mean, and that they would make it there, right?
Yeah.
They would have to they'd have to come up with a different name. I don't know. Maybe if they were the sensible.
Oh no.
Sensible liberal fellows that they appear to be, maybe they would even. What is the local language? Is it?
They have
many languages and dialects.
Yeah. Former British colony.
Right.
So they speak English. That's pretty pervasive. But I'll probably end up picking up one of the local dialects.
I was just gonna say
because if you're immersed in it.
Yeah. The intention is that you're gonna get thrown in it. Like I'll be living with the local family at very least for the first 3 months, picking up language and everything, and then there's the possibility we might end up on our with our own place within the village or whatever, but then there's also the possibility we might just end up with that family for the rest of the 2.5 years or whatever.
And you'll be besties by the end of it, or be throwing,
or not. It only goes one of 2 ways.
Or be throwing shit at each other constantly.
Immersion is a big thing. The reason I never learned how to say anything other than the fact that there's a party in my pants in Spanish is that I never
where the toilet brush is.
I never went to a Spanish party, and or had a party in my pants in Espanol. Immersion is good.
I mean, if we had spent a little bit more time in Montreal back in our younger days, we probably would have picked up some French. Yeah, I think so. Parlez-vous. Parlez-vous, the Français.
I was going to say, of the Latin languages, that is easily the one that I have the weakest grasp on. Like, I've been to Spanish-speaking countries, and it takes a little while for it to turn into Spanish and not in just ugly-ass sort of Spanish-Portuguese. And I can kind of make out written Italian, and figure out, like, what you're getting at with this.
Right, but
French, oh, wow. Like, just...
Ooh la la.
My daughter is. My wife took French in high school, and my daughter is taking French now in middle school. And I'm not of any help. Not that my wife is that much help either, because she never did any immersion and long since out of practice on it. But I hope that my kids will both pick it up, because the person who works in the office next to me. Works in the International Higher Education and Intercultural Relations program. She also is a grad of the MFA program that I'm a grad of, and so we've talked for years about MFA stuff. So recently I've kind of been learning about how many different languages she can speak and how well that served her, and so I hope that French is, and I don't know what my younger daughter will end up taking, but I hope French is just the first of maybe a few. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, you get the what is it? Take that porn money and get what is the Rosetta Stone?
Well, I used to have there's a program. There's an app with a cute little froggy.
Duolingo.
Yeah, I had that.
You could just find a French porn website and then 2 birds, 1 stone.
Oh, fuck yes. Okay, that's what I'm.
But they have to be like conjugating verbs while getting fucked.
Parlez-vous double-sided dildo?
Do I speak double-sided dildo? Of course I do. What kind of fucking question is that?
Double-sided dildo, double-sided dildoed, double-sided dildoing.
Dildwee.
Yeah.
And everyone who's French is offended.
Yeah, well, you know.
Let's hope.
The French invented the dildo, did they not?
I can only assume.
Yeah, when they were making bread.
You can find the show notes for this episode at clarkwoods.com/hot/220. I'm sorry, I just assumed that
was a good.
All right,
yeah.
And if you'd like to get in touch with us, tell us what we got wrong this episode or what we got right or anything else.
If you want to talk about orcs some more.
What was the count on our orc conversation there? Was that half the episode?
No.
Well, I don't know. There's a good portion of orcs. There's a good portion of pornography and the plight of the porn performer. I mean, I think we got a little bit of everything in there.
Yeah, and if you want to contact us, and I hope you do while you're away when you can get some internet. Like,
oh, yeah, no, I'm tying notes to ostrich legs. That's how you're getting it.
hot at clarkwoods.com is how you Leo, and many other, or the few other listeners out there.
Unless I'm the dog guy, I can just I'll live
Fuck the dog guy.
I'll just live tweet it at you.
He can take a double-edged dildo and do with it what he wishes.
No, but not to his dog.
Not to his dog. No.
That's...